Imposter syndrome, moving beyond the self-doubt. In 8th grade, I had the opportunity to join the Gifted and Talented program. It was a chance to be recognized as one of the smart kids, but that's not how I saw it. Not long after joining, I struggled with a single math assignment. Instead of asking for help or pushing through, I decided I didn't belong. I quietly excused myself from the program, telling myself that I wasn't like the other kids. They were brilliant. I was a fraud. I didn't fit. At the time, I didn't know there was a name for that feeling. Looking back, I now know this feeling had a name: imposter syndrome. It's a term I didn't learn until much later, but the weight of it shaped much of my journey towards self-belief. That moment in 8th grade wasn't just about one assignment or one decision. It was about the story I told myself: I'm not good enough. That story followed me into adulthood, showing up in different ways, like hesitating to take on challenges or doubting my successes. What is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is the persistent feeling that you're not as capable as others believe you are, that somehow you fooled people into thinking you belong. It's that nagging feeling that you've only succeeded because of luck, timing, or some other external factor, not your own skills or effort. Despite evidence of your abilities, imposter syndrome convinces you that you're just pretending, and it's only a matter of time before you're found out. It's irrelevant how intelligent you actually are. You simply don't believe it. This internal struggle can affect anyone regardless of age or achievements. It's especially common in high-achieving individuals who often attribute their success to factors outside themselves. At its core, imposter syndrome thrives on the disconnect between how we see ourselves and how others perceive us. Recognizing imposter syndrome. The signs of imposter syndrome can be subtle, but they often leave a significant emotional impact. For some, it's the habit of downplaying accomplishments or brushing off compliments with, "It was nothing." For others, it's an overwhelming fear of failure or avoidance of challenges altogether. In my case, it showed up as self-sabotage, removing myself from an opportunity because I didn't think I measured up. Perfectionism is another hallmark of imposter syndrome. When you believe you must get everything right to prove your worth, even small mistakes can feel like confirmation that you're not enough. It's exhausting, unsustainable, and ultimately untrue. Moving beyond imposter syndrome. Recognizing the pattern is often the first step toward loosening its grip. One of the most important things I've learned is that imposter syndrome feeds on silence and isolation. When those doubts stay inside your head, they tend to grow louder. Saying them out loud to a trusted friend, mentor, or even a professional listener can bring a surprising amount of clarity. Often, someone outside the situation can see strengths and patterns that are difficult for us to recognize ourselves. It can also help to rethink how we view struggle and failure. In that 8th grade math class, I interpreted difficulty with an assignment as proof that I didn't belong. I saw it as a verdict on my ability rather than a normal part of learning. But struggle is often where growth begins. When something feels hard, it doesn't necessarily mean you're in the wrong place. Sometimes it means you're stretching into new territory. The next time that familiar thought, "I don't belong here," appears, it can help to pause and ask a different question. What might I be learning here? Another helpful practice is allowing yourself to acknowledge your own successes. Many people with imposter syndrome instinctively dismiss their achievements or minimize compliments. Taking a moment to recognize your contributions isn't arrogance. It's simply an honest accounting of reality. Why it matters to move beyond imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome doesn't just affect how you see yourself, it can quietly shape the choices you make. When self-doubt becomes the loudest voice in the room, it becomes harder to take risks, pursue opportunities, or step fully into the roles you've earned. Sometimes people hold themselves back not because they lack ability, but because they don't believe they deserve to be where they are. And the impact doesn't stop with us. The ways we speak about ourselves and respond to challenges often become part of what others observe and learn, especially children. Looking back, I sometimes wish I had understood this pattern earlier. Perhaps my own kids would have found it easier to trust their abilities and navigate their moments of doubt. Ironically, it was seeing similar patterns in my child that helped me recognize what I had been doing to myself all along. Breaking the cycle of imposter syndrome isn't only a gift we give to ourselves, it also changes the example we set for the people watching us. A journey worth taking. Moving beyond imposter syndrome isn't about eliminating self-doubt entirely. Doubt is part of being human. The real shift happens when doubt no longer gets the final word. Over time, confidence grows not from perfection, but from experience, from showing up, learning through challenges, and gradually realizing that you belong in the spaces you occupy. If you've ever felt like an imposter, you're not alone. Many capable, thoughtful people carry this quiet fear. But the story imposter syndrome tells, that you don't belong, that you've somehow fooled everyone, is rarely the truth. More often, it's simply an old narrative that has gone unchallenged for too long. You belong not because you're flawless, but because you're willing to learn, grow, and continue showing up for your life. And that is more than enough.